Good morning, everyone. I am just trying to find myself on the computer here so that I can follow along. I don't know. Facebook I keep refreshing. There I am. Okay, good morning. Thank you for being here with me. Are you ready for another quilt card? Hi, Tony. Thank you for sharing. I'm surprised Wonder Woman has time to jump in this morning. Good morning, Vesta and Susan. I'm going to just enlarge. Well, I guess I can't. I was going to see if I can enlarge my comments. There we go. I'm telling you, these eyes are, just not so good anymore. I'm squinting all the time and, having to try to find the bifocal in my lenses. It's terrible. Hi, Diane. So anyway, missed you. And today we're going to look at some new product out of the new mini catalog. We're going to use a designer series paper that's from Celebration. Some new embellishments. The embossing folder I'm using, I think it's probably out of the annual catalog. So anyway, and we're going to use a punch that coordinates with the stamp sets that's in the new catalog. Hello, Sharon. Yeah, so the new catalog went live on the 7th. Celebration started on the 7th. There's a great join special. You can join with two different options. You can get $155 in product for $99. It comes with free shipping on that order. The other option is $125 in whatever product you want. But then you also have the option, there's an exclusive stamp set, and you get your choice of two Stampin' Right marker collections. So that is really wonderful. I've seen where if you get that option, it's a $219 value for $99. Free shipping. And when you first join, you get a past paper pumpkin kit. You start saving 20% on your orders after you join. You don't have to do anything like Facebook Lives. You can solely join to save money. And you get to order product earlier than customers do, and you get access to Facebook pages that are for demonstrators, and so you can see what everybody else is doing. So there's a lot of perks to joining, and again, no expectations. That's what I love about Stampin' Up. You do it the way you want to do it, but just trying to save you some money. So if you have any questions, please get a hold of me and I will walk you through that and try to answer all your questions. So I'm going to flip the camera around and we're going to get started making a quilt card. Okay. While I am just changing some things around on my desk, please say good morning to each other. I am clearly backwards here, so I think it's this one here. There we go. And I'm going to try okay, how does that look on the computer? Not too shabby. We'll adjust it as we need it. Or I need it. Oh my goodness, you guys. I just about knocked over a whole glass of water. Would not be good when it's next to my laptop. Okay, wow, glare. Okay. Let's get that out of the way. So, hi Kay, good morning. Hi Sharon. Yay, Sharon's already got an order in. Hi Louise. How are things in Maryland? Hi Linda, snowy North Texas. You know, my husband and I, we were just talking about that. Here we live in Northwest Ohio. We have a dusting of snow. We should be getting the snow, and here it's states that are supposed to be warm. So it's just crazy anymore. But I'm glad that, hi Shirley, how's everything in Canada? I'm just glad that you could be with me this morning. And yesterday I went out birding with a very good friend of mine. We both needed it. We both have side businesses that require a lot of time. And so when we can just say we're going out birding and, you know, just get away from it all, it's really great. I got a life bird yesterday, you guys. So anybody who's west of the Mississippi, and not just everybody, but in certain parts of the Midwest and West, white-winged crossbills are like a finchy type like bird. And their bill cross the upper part of their beak and the lower part of their beak actually crisscross. And they love pine trees, and they use that beak to get into like pine cones and things like that. So you may have, this may be a yard bird for you, but it was a life bird for me. And it was right here. And it was at my quilting friend's house. It was like amazing. So I got to visit with my quilting friend who I haven't seen in a while, and her husband. And it was just like a really great day. So it just kind of re-energized everything. And yeah, it was great. So, hi, Helene. So that's just something I wanted to share with you. Let's look at the bundle. Okay. So in the new catalog, now actually they show the punch. There's 2 stamp sets in the new mini catalog that work. I'm trying to keep the glare off of you guys. So these 2 stamp sets right here work with the coordinating punch that's right here. I am using images from Bright Borders today, but just know that there are 2 stamp sets that you can get, and I believe if you order both and the punch, then you can get the designer series paper I'm going to show you from Celebration. So that's that. I'm just going to move this out of the way. Some new embellishments. I haven't decided which ones I'm going to use yet today, but there's some new embellishments. Also, real quick, Karen Titus, who is my upline, she has been doing a card play online retreat for some, I think we're like in our 2nd year, but every time a new catalog comes out, we do an online retreat. So Karen and Holly, a lot of you know who Holly is, myself, Barb, and another Julie, we've got a card play coming up in February, and you can register right now. And if you register before the 12th, there are 5 3D projects that you'll get a PDF for. But you got to register before the 12th. So go to my page, look for the Google form. If you can't find it, please message me so I can get that to you, because there's different ways that you can attend this retreat. You can do the online. You can get a purchase it with a make and take packet that will make the 8 cards that we are featuring with the beautiful butterflies and wishing something. There's a sentiment It's Julie Davison's sentiment stamp set for her achievement. And then if you're an All's Good card club member, you get a discount. That's a club that's Karen's exclusively. So there's different ways that you can participate. So it'll explain it all in the Google form. The embossing folder that I am going to use is called the Distressed Tile 3D embossing folder. This is like one of my favorites, and the way it quilted the project that we're doing today, gorgeous. If you don't have this embossing folder, you'll want it. And then speaking of the designer series paper from Celebration, you can see I've been busy using this. It is called Bloom. Oh gosh, I had it on the Bloom Impressions. And look at this gorgeous paper. Look at these florals. I'll try to go slow so I don't blur too much. I want to put them so that you can see. This is I would say this is the A side. Okay. And of course, Facebook is a little behind. There you go. There's the A side. And then I'm going to flip them over. This is the B side. Beautiful, bright colors. It's going to make you, it'll help you get through the dreary days of snow and cold when we've got these colors to look forward to coming in the spring. So I just love it. With you in mind. That's it, Tony. Thank you. With you in mind. So, just wanted to show you that Celebration Designer Series paper. And let's get started with, where do I want to start? Okay, so let's look at what I had you prep for today. On Wednesdays, I will post a prep sheet. Oh my goodness. I haven't talked to you guys in like 2 weeks, and you can tell because I'm just like stammering all over myself. But I've got some 1-inch strips here. Now these are shorter than my post because I couldn't quit making today's card yesterday, and I've been using up my strips. But what you want to look for is you want to have options to use with this quilt card. So again, here's just a mix of the different sides, and really all of these can pretty much play together. And you can always flip the other side over. As you're creating the project, you might find that you want the other side instead of what you thought you wanted. And that is what is so much fun. So I've got some 1-inch strips here. And what I'm going to do is I want to pick 2 that are going to be the focal spot on our quilt card. These 2 will be that quilt pattern, that block that is going to set the tone for how we do the second part of it. Okay, so what I'm going to do is I want to look for 2 pieces that have contrast. Okay, so the way I had planned it out last night, and I flipped it all over, so I'm not really sure. I have some samples to show you, but if you pick a really multicolored pattern, you can pull in a lot of the colors. If you go with something like I'm going to use this one. And then what I want to do is I want to pull one of these colors that has the most contrast. And it's a purple. For me, what I see speaks to me the most is the purple. So, I think I'm going to work. These two blend together too much. So I'm going to flip it over. And I'm going to use this variegated solid to be the two pieces that I use for the block. Again, you can see that there's really good contrast there. You're going to be able to distinguish the pattern. And then what I want to do is I want to pull some of these other colors out for the rest of the pattern. Well, the yellow isn't going to get it. There's really no peach pie in there, so I probably won't use that one. And you want 3 to 4 or maybe even 3 to 5 different colors that you can pull out. Definitely could use the Shy Shamrock there. What was on the other side? Oh, that's that multicolored one. This one here has Berry Burst and Flirty Flamingo and all kinds of beautiful colors that will bring in these pinks. So I can use this one. I also can use the other side, which is great because now it just gave me 2 more that I can use. And then there's this print that will bring out the blue-green, and it has a lot of the colors that are already in this piece, so I can use that one. So those are the pieces that I am going to be working with. I need a card base, so I'm going to use Basic White Thick. This is 8.5 by 5.5, and it's scored in the center at 4 1/4. What in the world did I get all over it? Let's see, there's my button for the back. I've got a piece of Designer Series paper for the back. We need a 4 1/8 by a 5 3/8 layer. And I am just, again, pulling a color. This is Petunia Pop. I'm pulling a color that coordinates with the paper. And then we need a 4 by 5 1/4. This is what we're going to build our quilt our pattern on. But you're going to notice that when we layer it, it's got a really thin border. And then when we layer it to the front, you've just got these really thin borders. And this top part here is going to be, it's going to be the, the wow. Okay. I've got another piece of Basic White here to do some stamping so that we can use that punch. And I also punched this already. I'm going to use this to kind of extend and give some color to my sentiment label, since I'm going to be working white with a lot of white. I want something that separates this from this. And the texture that we use when we quilt is going to help separate things too. Okay, so why don't let's get the stamping out of the way first. I am going to use this beautiful, just kind of a leafy image here. And I am going to, I'm going to stamp this in Blackberry Bliss to help bring out the Blackberry Bliss that is in the DSP. And what I want to make sure is when I stamp this, I'm going to be able to slide my punch in. So my punch, I want to have these points running vertically so I can see the points on my stamp. Oh, it's so nerve-wracking when I have to stamp in front of you all and I can't stand up and see what I'm doing. So there's that beautiful leafy image, and then I'm going to come in with Shy Shamrock to stamp my sentiment, which says, yay, so happy for you. Okay, now I'm going to bring this down to me, just so I can see what I'm doing, you guys, and hope that I stamp straight. Yeah, I'm so happy for me. That turned out great. Okay. Boy, if that sentiment wasn't appropriate for today, I don't know what is. Now let's just hope I don't drop an ink pad on my good job that I did. Hi, Linda. Your first live. Welcome. Well, don't worry. We really haven't gotten that far. Hey, Judy. So hello from Kathy and Judy from Wisconsin, and Lynn Brown. Linda from Malden. South Carolina blizzard tomorrow. Isn't that crazy? So do I see Doris? Hey, Charity. Kathy. Hi, Lori. Thank you for sharing, Kathy. Kathy's not too far from me, actually. So now that I've got my sentiment, you know what we need to do, you guys? I'm surprised somebody hasn't suggested it yet. Let's see if this is going to let me. Okay. It's definitely touch sensitive here. I'm going to see if I can't. There we go. Let's see if we can't zoom a little bit closer. Okay. So you're not seeing it so far away. And then I'm going to put my image in my punch. I'm going to close it just enough that it holds the paper so I can see if I've got it lined up right. I'm not cutting it yet, but I'm holding it. Oh, I don't hold it. That wasn't very good. Just want to make sure. Okay, that's not too bad. And like I said, I had already punched a colored one so that we can layer that later. But that's going to be the sentiment. So our stamping is done. Let's put all of that away. And let's get to the fun part. You guys want to know what this quilt block's going to look like. So bring in your 4 by 5 1/4 inch piece of basic white. Now, after you do this once in white, then, you know, you can change this to be another background color if you want. I've said it so many times, but it's really easy for me to teach a lot with using a white so that it's just easier to teach with. It kind of takes the thinking and the planning part out of it, instead of like, oh my goodness, what color do I want to bring in? You can never go wrong with white. And I love white on white cards. I have no problem using a lot of white. Hello, Mary Ellen. Hey, Sandy. How's Texas? Chicago. Hi, Lori. Okay. So, what I want to do first, what I want you to do first, is I am going to score a portion of the upper left-hand corner of my basic white here. And it's just going to help me get that first placement of the first square that I need to put down. So I'm going to bring, I'm going to put the left side of my cardstock in at 3/4 of an inch. Make sure you don't use your cutting blade. And I'm not going to go, excuse me, I'm not going to go all the way down, but I'm probably going to come down maybe a couple of inches, and I just want to score. Now, whatever score line you have is going to disappear when you quilt the card, so don't worry about that. If you want to use a pencil and draw a line, you can, because we're going to eventually use a pencil and those lines can be erased. So 3/4 of an inch this way, 3/4 of an inch this way, but I'm going to come down here closer so I can make an intersection with the one that I already did. I don't have to go all the way with this one. Okay, so now, I don't know, can you see my intersection there? We're going to let the computer and Facebook catch up. I don't know if you can see it, but right here I have an intersection of these two lines, and I need that because right inside that intersection I am going to place a square. Okay, so set that aside, and now I'll bring in those 1-inch strips. So I need, here's the two that I chose for the focal pattern. And I'm going to cut these at the same time, but they need to be 1-inch square. So I'm going to put it up here at 1 inch. So I've got these two 1-inch squares. Now, I may come back in and use these again in the rest of my card. So I'm just going to set these to the side. And now that I'm looking at what pattern I have left, and because it's 1 inch, you're not going to get all of that. If I didn't want, let's say I wanted more of the pinks and the maybe some more green, you can fussy cut that, but I'm going to go with it. And I'm just going to bring in these other colors. I'm going to bring in Shy Shamrock. In fact, you know what? I am going to cut these other 3 pieces, and I'm going to cut 1-inch squares. And then, because I believe you should always have options, and I'm going to have enough left that I can flip those over, I'm going to bring in this purple because I want to use this side too. That gives me another option. And this one I'll be able to flip over. So I've got, with those 4 squares, I've got options. Okay, so this is my focal. Now, decide which one of these 2 squares you want the center of your block. I'm going to go with the pattern. I am going to start cutting this one into triangles and to show contrast with that one. We need 8 triangles out of this 1-inch square. So what I'm going to do, and what you're going to do, you're going to put that square on point in your trimmer so that the points are in the track, and you're going to cut it in half. Okay. Now turn it so that the long side is up against your bumpers, but your point is in the track, and you're going to cut it in half again. Do that with the other one. And now we're going to cut these halves in half. So I'm going to turn it so that it's on point, or my point is in the track. I'm going to come down. And I like to keep my pairs together. Okay, so I'm going to slide this pair out of the way. And I'm just going to keep them in pairs because they were cut together. They will play together. Okay, so there's another pair. Turn this one. These are the only real tiny pieces that we're going to use. There's a pair. One more pair. Now we're going to cut those other squares that we picked to coordinate. We're going to cut them in triangles, but we're not going to go down to this small. And here's my other pair. I'm going to keep those together. And that one stays by itself. Now these other choices that I have, we're going to cut them into just 4 triangles. So you're going to cut them in half once, and then you're going to cut them in half again. But that's as far as we're going with these. And these do not matter. They don't have to be in pairs. And in fact, you're probably only going to use 1/2. So you could save this one to see if you need it, or you can go ahead and cut it now because, you know, you just never know. I'm going to save it. I'm just going to put that other half to the side. And now I'm going to just do this one. Did I like both sides of this? Well, we're using the one. I think I'm just going to do the print. So, and I might only need a couple of these. So we've got those. I'll set this one to the side. This one here. What I'm looking for is I want to have like, let me find my card again. I want to have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. I want to have 8. I'm going to use 8 triangles. So I'll keep cutting until I like this one with more green in it, until I have 8 that I can use. And then if I decide if you want to add more triangles to your card, you can go back and grab that other half. I'm going to flip that one over. I flip that over. See how I'm getting different choices here? I can even use one of those. And don't be surprised if you change your mind when you start putting this together and you're like, you know what? I'm going to bring in that other triangle again. Or I'm going to bring in a piece that I didn't think would work, but it'll work fine. So I'm going to flip one of these over because this is one of them that had 2 sides that I like. So I got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. Okay, so I've got options here. I might want to bring something else in. Okay, so let's gather up these larger triangles, keep them together. There's my square. Now I want to try and keep those together. So I'm going to try and do this. Oh boy. You know what? I'm just going to have to take them off. And I'm going to hope. I'm just going to keep them together. A lot of times when I'm working, I work right on my cutter because I can square up a corner of my, whatever base that I'm working on, and it holds it in place. And I do a lot of work right on my trimmer. I have to clean my trimmer a lot because, you know, it ends up getting adhesive and stuff on it. But on the Stampin' Up! Trimmer, I will put my cardstock right into the corner, and I'll work because it's like holding it. So, and I was going to try and do that with you guys, but you know what? I'm just going to take it all off the trimmer and do it right here. So let's bring in that piece of basic white. Right here is my intersection. So that square is going to go right on the inside of my intersecting lines. Okay, so it's going to go right there. Now I've got some, a thin applicator. I've got my Tombow. It's just going to depend on what kind of coverage I need. Don't need a lot of glue. And again, I'm going to put that right in that corner. These score lines are going to help get me started for how we build out. We're going to build out from this corner. And again, when we go to quilt the card, we're going to eliminate any other score lines that you see. Okay? So now I'm going to bring in those little tiny triangles. Okay. And I'm going to use my fine tip applicator for this. And on the opposite side, I'm just going to put a little bit of glue. And we're going to build around that square. And your 90-degree angle here will sit on the outside edges. So I'm going to turn this just to show you it's where it's going to go. So I'm going to butt it up to that square. And I'm going to use that score line that I have there to help keep me straight. So you're going to place that triangle right on top of your square. And then your other, its little friend here, its twin, I guess you could say, 90-degree angle goes where this 90-degree angle is. And because I cut them together, they should meet really nicely. Okay. So we're just going to work all around this square, putting the points in, okay? So I'm just going to turn it as I go. If you have some reverse tweezers, you could be using them to help hold these little tiny pieces. It just still feels like a foreign object in my hand. I am just so used to using my fingers. But be careful because we're working on white. Make sure you don't use too much glue. If you do get glue on your white, let it dry a little bit and then use an adhesive eraser to take it off. An adhesive eraser is going to be your friend with quilt cards, especially if you're handling small pieces, because it's going to happen. You're going to get some glue on your fingers and you're going to touch something else and it goes from there. So if we can keep our cards clean, then you're going to enjoy it a lot better. So here we're building a star right around that square. This is this goes together really quick, the rest of this card. That's why last night I just kept making them. And I can't wait to use some other designer series paper to see just how it changes the feel of it. Just color alone can totally change. You know, bright colors make you happy. Neutrals our neutrals. If you want to use pastels because you want something soft, and color is everything. So there is my star. Again, you want a contrasting color so that the pieces separate from each other and they stand out. So how are we doing? So Kathy says practicing with reverse tweezers. Yeah, it does. I mean, you are totally right on that, Kathy. They just feel very foreign in my hands. And I end up just like, you know what? I'm just going to use my fingers. Hi, Martha. Good morning. And hi, Karen. Okay, so now that we've got our star, I want to draw some lines so that I know where to place my other triangles and try to keep them straight. And this line will help keep them straight. So I'm going to bring in a pencil and I'm going to bring my trimmer back in. Because what I'm going to do, I'm going to place my pencil in the track just to draw my line. So it's this, okay, we're going to go down from this, where these 2 points meet, we're going to go down and draw a line, and we're going to draw a line over here. So I'll do the vertical first, and I'm going to use my track, and I'm just going to see if my point is in the center there. And I'm trying not to get my head in the camera, but I'm just going to just draw a line. Oh, get that blade out of there. How many of you just panicked like I did? And so I'm going to turn it. Again, I'm just going to make sure that the points here meeting are like in the center. I can't see really well. If you're a little off, you can always make the adjustment, but that's not too bad. So I've got a line here and I got a line here. Remember, this score line here is going to fade away when we quilt our card. So we got that. And now what I'm going to do is I'm going to bring these pieces in, and I am going to line up some triangles here and some triangles here. So this is a pattern that I saw. It showed up in Facebook. They had more to their pattern, but I'm just casing the corner, okay? So what I want to do is my first 2 triangles, what I want to focus on here and down here is that there's even spacing, okay? So if I use the green one there, I think I'm going to bring in, and you can make a matchy match if you want. I like scrappy. So I'm going to put that there, and then you can put as many as you want along your line there. I'm going to do 3 and 5. And so with my layout, I am just going to maybe put a solid here. Let's put, I'm just going to reverse these where I started with pink. And I'm going to flip it over so it's a different shade of pink. Put that there. And then I might come in the end here with a solid, if I can pick it up with my fingers. But as long as I'm putting the point of my triangle on that line, then it up and down, I'm pretty much straight. Okay? And so here we'll put a purple. Now I'm left with 2 green. Oh, remember I have this side. Oh, yay, that just saved the day for me. I can put that side down. It brings in more of all the colors. Oh boy, do I really want to end with another... You know what? I think I'm going to move this purple here. And nah. You know what I'm going to have to do? I'm going to cut another one of my leftover triangles. Because I don't want two greens there. Now, where's that green? What side is that green? I could do that. Ah, there it is. Okay, I'm going to cut this one real quick. I'm going to cut this one in half. I don't mind it being green, but with the pattern, it'll help break it up. Instead of having a solid green, there, I'll just bring that one in. And so this is what it's going to look like. So once you have your pattern, then you can start gluing down. What did I do with my, oh, you know what? Maybe I want that. See, I just changed my mind. I'm not going to do the green side. I'm going to do the other side. I want to bring in as much color as I can. I'm going to put the point on my pencil line. Determine how much width you want between your star. Whoops. Between your star and your first triangle. And you're going to want to match that with this one. So I'm going to put those two down first. And I don't want to push too hard just yet, in case I have to straighten it out a little bit. Okay, not too bad. Okay, I'm just going to keep going. Maybe now I want to put the purple here. No, I want the purple's too close to... Ooh. Huh. No. Oh. What do I want to do here? If I flip that over... Instead of a solid purple, okay, I'm going to do this. See how you can change your mind? It's always good to have choices. And there's no right or wrong, you guys. Make several cards and just keep changing it up. And don't overthink it like I do sometimes. A lot of times. Who am I kidding, Julie? You overthink everything. Okay. So I got those. And now I'm just going to finish putting these down. And once we do that, we're going to erase those pencil lines that we see. We're going to use our adhesive eraser to clean up any trouble spots. And then we're going to quilt. When I was doing like my test cards, you know, I was just like adamant that I wasn't going to use a solid color. I don't know why. But I found that a lot of my prints were running together, like, you know, the same print, but just a different color. So then I was just like, let go, Julie, let it go. And threw in some solids. And I'm like, you know what? I like that. A lot of times my mind's eye is wrong. It's like, no. Okay, so now I'm just going to press down. Okay, so here's my colors. And I'm going to use an eraser and get rid of the pencil lines. A lot of times that adhesive eraser, it also acts as a regular eraser. I can get two things done at the same time. Okay, I hid that other one. So here is our quilt card. We got this white space for adding a sentiment label. And now what I want to do, I'm just going to make sure it's clean. I'm actually going to deboss this. So to deboss it and bury my pattern, I'm going to flip it over and put it in my folder upside down. That way my pattern is going to be recessed into my card. And give me a second. Da, 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 da. Okay. Is this quilting not like gorgeous with this white background and these colors? This card front here, this gives me the feel like I want to curl up with it. It's like that beautiful quilt, you know, it just seems so comfy to me. It's like I want to wrap myself up in this pattern. Gail, this is called Distressed. This is the Distressed Tile 3D embossing folder. And whether you go online into the store, I believe it's in the annual catalog if you've got a catalog too. But I checked online to make sure that it was current. Okay, so that is that embossing folder. But I am in love. I'm just in love with it. It just makes me want, it's that quilt that you're going to pull off the back of the couch and you are just going to wrap yourself up in it, and it is going to make you feel all better. Okay, so there's the quilt card. Now let's bring in, where are my pieces? Okay, right here. So this is going to layer onto the petunia pop. Okay, so I'm going to bring in my Tombos. I don't want to get too close to the edge because this glue is going to move around, but I do want to lay down all these hills and valleys that the embossing did. And this is going to have a very thin border, a little peekaboo border. And I like to really press the edges down so that I don't have ripples. I want it to lay nice and flat. And as that glue gets tacky, I'll come back and I'll push these edges down again to make sure they take. Okay, so this is going to go, look at how pretty this card is. Oh my gosh, I am just in love with this. So this is a card that's going to make, no matter the occasion, it's going to make somebody feel so good. They are going to feel the love with this one. Okay, just going to press those edges down again. So there's the front of our card. Now, what I should have told you, but you know what? It's a reason to make another one. Okay, so I've got this in portrait, right? Well, right now as it is, I could finish it in landscape. And this would be a top fold. And my sentiment, you want to make sure when you're putting your label that it's going the right way. But right now it's in portrait. It's up here in this corner. Had I flipped this around, I could have put my star down in this corner. And I've got samples to show you of what the star looks like in different parts of your card front, okay? Oh, one more thing I think we want to do. I'm going to show you another option to your star. Let's say you want to do a square and a square. Right here, you need an 11/16 inch square. And I have to determine, I think I'm going to bring a pink in. Now, it is going to cover up some of my purple, but it brings in another color. Okay, so I'm going to cut an 11/16 inch square. 11/16 is the line that's between 3/4 and 5/8. So this line between 3/4 and 5/8 is 11/16. See why it's good to have all these strips nearby, because you can always change your mind at any time. 3/4 and 5/8 right there. Okay. I'm telling you, quilt blocks are the gift that just keeps on giving, because you can add, I mean, just adding one more thing totally changes the quilt block. And what I'm doing is I'm lining up all my points. Look how it changed the pattern. Now that I'm seeing it, it kind of, I don't know. Maybe I needed a solid in there, or maybe just a lighter color. But whatever you decide to put in the center, just make sure there's contrast. I don't like that one either. I thought I was going to. It's just got too much going on and it doesn't set itself apart. And I don't really know if I want to put green. But just to let you know, you can change this block by adding a square on point in the center of that. Nah, I already used that. Nah, I don't know, you guys. I'm going to have to think about this. But there's just another option for you. Okay, so let's get back to finishing our card. So I have my sentiment here that I can put on my card. And see how that just blends right into the white? I kind of want to make it stand out a little bit. So I punched in Petunia Pop the same as my layer there. I'm going to cut it in half, and I am just going to put a really thin border at the top, and see how now that separates the white so it's going to stand out. So I'm going to cut this in half like this. Cut it in half. And this is a way also that you can make your sentiment labels larger, is by putting a layer behind them and building it out. So this one's going to go on top. This one's going to go on the bottom. It gives it a little bit of a border. It's going to separate that white. And it's just going to be a little pop of color. I'm going to do a thin border, and you can make it as wide or as narrow as you want. Just remember, you've got so much room here, and if you're not wanting to cover up any of your triangles and any part of the quilt pattern, you're going to want to just keep that in mind. Be aware of it as you're building your label. Okay, maybe push this down just a little bit like that. And now that just that little bit of color separates the whites. And I think you're good to go. So I'm going to put dimensionals on the back of this. Oh, you know what? I have a green square. Now, if you think about adding a square here after the fact, cut your square, run it through the same embossing folder that you used, and then just glue it down, and your pattern should be fine. Kind of liking that. I might go back and do that. I might go back and do that. But it's not too late. If you think about that square afterwards, just, you know, first cut it to size and then run it through the embossing folder and it should blend in. And I like a lot of dimensionals. I like my, I don't like a soggy middle or a squishy middle. I want to keep everything nice and flat. So yay, so happy for you. And, okay, I'm going to have to do that. I'm going to have to do this because I need to see. If it overlaps or touches my triangles, that's okay. You just have to, you know, where do you feel that it sits well? And you could even put some greenery behind it. You can make a cluster here. Just be aware of the room that you have. And if you're okay with covering some of your triangles, then go for it. So there's my sentiment. And now, what do I want to use? I think, because I have samples to show you with these other embellishments, I'm going to bring in and use the pool party ones here. It just shows you another shade of green. Doesn't all have to be matchy-matchy. And I love these dots because they are nice and they don't stick up real high. Just gonna use maybe, what do I want to do with this? I might have to look at one of my samples to see what I liked when I did it this way. But I don't want to show you the samples yet. Okay, none of these are going to tell me anything. I'm just going to have to put them maybe right here. Right there. And let's put another tiny one right there. Okay. And, oh, one more thing. I mean, with the basic white thick, you could stamp your sentiment or your inside right on the card. But if you want to put another layer of white, then a 4 by 5 1/4 inch insert, or however you want to finish off the inside. I do want to finish my back. You guys know me. I like to put paper on the back. What side do I want? Do I want that side? Oh, I love all the different colors. I'm going to go with all the colors. And I'm just, this strip is just half of the card, the size of the back of my card. So it's 2 1/8 by 5 1/2. It covers the full length and it's just half of the width. And then I have my little button here. Your button serves as the label you would put on the back of your quilt. So there's the back. You can finish the inside the way you want it. You could use your leftover triangles and put a pattern on the inside. But there's the front, and I am just in love with these cards. So let me show you. No, Linda, I'm going to have to go back and look at that. Linda, who is on my team, she posted in the Fine Line, which we're all a part of Karen's team, and she made a post I got to go back and look at. Okay, so let's look at the feels that we get when we have other colors. From that same designer series paper, I have this one. And here I did put a square in there so you can see how it just adds another level to your quilt card. And then I did a couple of cards in landscape. So let's take these portrait ones and just move them out of the way for a moment. And notice here, by the way I positioned, the way I laid my card front down, my star is here in the lower left corner, where it's here up here in the upper right. So, and why is there this lag with Facebook? Oh, here we come. Okay. Don't like it when it lags like that. And here I just played with different labels. This is this is the mixed labels bundle, the sentiment, and there's a die, and I just layered the die, but instead of using two halves, I die cut it twice, and I cut it in half one way and I cut it in half another way, so that I got a border that went all the way around. Okay, here again is just that little peekaboo border, says thank you instead. But when you just see that you can put your star in different areas. Now, when I did this one, I meant for it to be down here. So let's say we turn it around. Forget that this is upside down. This is what it would look like if your star was down in this corner. Okay, so mind you, yes, it's upside down, but it's just for demonstration purposes only. Just to show you the star in all the different corners. Okay, so hi Debbie. Hi Peggy. Did you emboss the back piece? No, I didn't. Sometimes I do, Shirley. I love to feel the texture on the back, so sometimes I will emboss it. That way, when they're holding the card and they feel texture on the back, they have to flip it over, and then that's where they're going to find your button and know who put so much love into their card that they made. So I hope you enjoyed today's quilt card. I hope that you share your cards over in the group Quilt Cards and More. You can join from the Chirpy page. Remember, there are some questions that I would like you to answer to make sure that we have the right people in our group. Trust me, there are some not. I delete a lot. Or not delete. I have to decline a lot. And some of those are, when I do a little further investigating, it's a good thing that I didn't just approve it. So we've got a really good group of crafters within Quilt Cards and More. A lot of sharing going on. We have members who, like Cindy, who will create a PDF for her card and she shares it with everybody. It's just a wonderful place to be. I will have a PDF for this card. It will, it'll be this weekend when it hits the files over in the group. So look for that to drop this weekend. But in the meantime, I would love to see what your cards look like. In fact, we all want to see what your cards look like. So please share them over in the group. I think that's it. Yeah, I hope you liked today's project. I hope you liked seeing the new products and that they give you a lot of ideas. And with that, I am going to let you go so that you can go make some quilt cards. And, gosh, it seems like there was something else I was going to say, but you know what? I can't remember it at this point. So, oh, I know. We need to give some of these cards away. And I'm going to be making more because I just love this. So let me give away 3 cards. If you type in the comments, I have been forgetting to do this on the other Facebook Lives. If you comment, let's do the title of the stamp set I used. Why don't you type bright borders after the stamp set, bright borders, and then I'll give it a couple of days, give people a chance to catch the replay, and then I will draw 3 names and send you a card. Okay, so the keyword is bright borders, and I will... Doris! Yay! Doris, have you been here, or did you just get here? Is Robin with you? Oh boy, now I lost my comments because everybody is typing in bright borders. But hi Doris, hi Robin, hi Wisconsin. I'm going to let you go. I want you guys to make some quilt cards and have a very blessed day. Talk to you soon.